What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and baby, let's get into the drama of it all. So in this video, we're talking about all the things that I have seen as it pertains to Real Housewives of New Jersey that have come across my timeline. Now, I will preference this by saying I am not a stan of either Melissa or Teresa. Okay, I'm not a tree hugger. I don't know what Melissa people be calling themselves. Honestly, the two people I go up for on this show is Trout Mouth Margaret and New Nose Jennifer. I know they are both gutter snipes and two sides of the same coin at times, but I goes up for them. But that makes me feel like I can talk about the information that is given to me or the things that I see when it comes to Real Housewives in New Jersey with a non-biased approach because I don't have any affiliation to anybody, okay? So, with that being said, if you come across this video and you are a tree hugger or you're a Melissa stan, engage with it, but don't be crazy. Because if you start getting disrespectful, I will block you. Okay? Because it's a TV show. It ain't that deep. Okay? But let's get into it. All right, y'all. So first up, let's talk about these new taglines. If I'm gonna be honest, I really wasn't impressed by anybody's tagline. I felt like a lot of them were just mid. I was like, okay, this alright, but I don't know, you could have came better. I was like, y'all could have gave us something more. But I digress. So first up is Rachel. It says, if you don't have my back, at least have a backbone. And I wonder if that is, I was like, okay, Rachel, but I wonder if that is towards Jennifer Fessler, because I do remember last season, it seemed like Jennifer F and Rachel were getting close with one another and they were becoming cool or something like that. And I think it's going to rub Rachel the wrong way that Jennifer F is actually starting to like Teresa and becoming cool with Teresa. So I wonder if that is who that is. This tagline is foreshadowing about, because I'm like, it can't be about Melissa or Margaret because Melissa and Margaret didn't film with Teresa. And so I'm just kind of like, something's off. So then we have my girl, New Nose Jennifer. Friends are like handbags. The fake ones are all too easy to spot. I like it. I feel like she could have came harder, but I feel like out of everybody, we know for a fact Jennifer is coined up because of Bill. Okay, and I like that. At least she giving us the money. And I like that Jennifer shows her culture. I enjoy that aspect about Jennifer being a part of the show. But I feel like she could have came a little harder. But I do hope this season is a lot better for Jennifer because I was disappointed in her last season. I mean, I understood where she was coming from with the whole the revealing that Bill cheated and how she was spiraling out and stuff like that. But it did feel like she was being a lackey for Teresa. And normally I can feel like Jennifer does have a mind of her own seasons prior to this, even though she's always been really up Teresa's butt at times. But I do feel like last season it was too much. So I'm hoping she is a lot better this season. So next is Trout Mouth Margaret. It says, while you're taking cheap shots, I'm taking screenshots. I don't really like it. But my thing is, I've always wanted Margaret and Jennifer to team up because I feel like they would be the best team on this show because they both go to the floor. They both get gutter. Okay, they get gutter. And I feel like they could run this show if they just didn't fight the way they do. But I feel like they mirror each other in some way. I feel like both of them trigger something in each other. That's why they can never get cool. But I just wish they could because I know that they would be great on this show together. I wonder if this is pertaining to Jackie because we know Margaret and Jackie ain't cool no more. So I wonder if that's who she's talking about because Margaret didn't film with Teresa. So I don't think that's a shot at Teresa, but maybe it is. I don't know. But I just wish Margaret would just stand in her villain tree. Because my thing is if you're going to be Miss Big and Bad and you run these girls in the sense of you're the other head girl in charge, I'm gonna need you to really be that girl. You know what I'm saying? Film with Teresa, argue with her, give her that smoke, but you don't be doing that, Margarita. And I be frustrated because I know you got it in you. So then we have Danielle's. I'm going to be honest, out of everybody's, I thought Danielle's was the weakest. She says, I'm bougie, unbothered, and above the drama. How, Danielle? How, when it's an alleged that you and Jennifer got into a physical altercation? On top of that, I feel like Danielle needs to take out bougie, because there's nothing about Danielle that screams bougie. Nothing about her screams bougie. I know it has something to do with that child line with her kid, but that's for your child, not for you, sis. So I thought Danielle had the weakest tagline. So then we have Dolores, or Black Dolores. It says, I'm a girl from Patterson playing Switzerland, dating an Irishman. It's all right. But I don't really feel like Dolores plays neutral. I just think that Dolores, I don't think nobody wants to go at it with Dolores, to be honest, because Dolores do be picking sides. But I also feel like Dolores is at the best spot in the sense of like, she can go between the groups. And if that alleged reboot that's coming after this season is happening, I can see them keeping Dolores because they know Dolores knows how to keep the peace. So next is Melissa. It says, it's hard not to burn bridges when you're on fire. This is corny to me. And I think the way Melissa said it was also very corny. But I feel like they be purposely giving Melissa bad taglines. Her last season's tagline wasn't good either. I was like, girl, maybe you need to cause one of your fans to write a good tagline for you. And then the last one is Teresa. You can try to tear me down, but this tree just keeps on growing. I think it's all right, but I think tear, like, shouts out to my mutual Third King, where he was like, they should have said cut down. Like, you may try to cut me down, but this tree just keeps on growing would have been way better, like, instead of tear. But I think it's decent. So those were the taglines. I would say out of all of them, the worst again for me was Danielle. I don't really have the best. Like, I just know I didn't like Danielle's out of everybody's. In news that actually shocked me was Kim D and Teresa linking up. Girl, when I tell you Kim D been dragging Teresa through these internet streets, I am just so surprised that they linked up. So this was posted on Thursday, and it was on Kim D's Instagram, and it says, I think the caption was, thank you. It said, thank you at Teresa Giudice for my birthday lunch. And they're at dinner, like, hanging out. And then underneath you have Teresa with 3 hearts, and then Jacqueline put, this makes me happy. Like, when I tell you, I am so surprised that they linked up. I don't know what this means. I don't know what this means, because, like, maybe Teresa is in like a forgiving mood, because Teresa is the type of person, I think she's a Taurus, that holds grudges. And I'm just so surprised that her and Kim D actually worked it out, because girl, the way I would hear Kim D on Beyond the Velvet Rope, like rag tagging Teresa, Melissa, anybody on that cast, I am surprised that they are hanging out. I don't know. You know, I guess the pigs were flying that day. So let's talk about this drama that's been all over the timeline about leaked DMs and Teresa. So this blogger who fell out with Teresa and Jennifer Aiden, basically leaked DMs from Jennifer accusing her and Teresa of leaking stories about the RHONJ cast, as fan pages admit that they were programmed and directed by them, and threatens to expose more of their dirty work. Hashtag RHONJ. And there's a article by therealityblurb.com. So here's the thing. I don't care. And the reason why I don't care is because all of them do this. It's just this account exposed it. We just got off the backs of Real Housewives of Potomac, where it was leaked that Robin is in a group chat with bloggers. Candace is in a group chat with fans and bloggers of the show. So it's like, we're not going to act like these women don't have people in media that they go to. We know that E has a close relationship with the girls at Beverly Hills. We know for a fact that Love B. Scott is close to Kenya Summer Moore from Real Housewives of Atlanta, and he gets tea. So I'm not really like surprised by this. And the reason why I say that is that Melissa did an interview with Bryce Snyder, and she talks about, let me just read what she says. She says, in this interview with Bryce Snyder, Melissa also has a message for the fans. She says, keep it light and enjoy. Praise the ones you love, but let's not bash the ones you hate. I have always kept the mentality with any fan account that have embraced me or my family. If I am your queen, your favorite person, I'm telling you to bash the other castmates, you're probably going to do it. It's because you're being manipulated in some way. And at first I was like, yeah, Melissa has a point, until somebody posted. So someone posted a picture of, it looks like Jennifer and Jackie are confronting this lady named Chrissy, who has an account on Twitter. And I've seen her account on Twitter, and she is very nasty and very harsh when it comes to Jennifer and Teresa and people that side with them on this show. And you can see that there's a cameraman in the back. And I feel like if we're going to be mad about screenshots, then I think we also need to be mad about people inviting accounts that have very aggressive opinions about your castmates. I think it's the same thing. You may not be liking or posting things, liking what these people are posting about you or telling people to post things about you, but you are giving them like a prize for allowing them to come film with you. And like this person said, who quote tweeted the picture from the first person, saying, it's wild that production let this happen. So Twitter accounts are allowed to film, then post all the tea and have a negative narrative to suit the storyline. This is cringy, and I'm embarrassed for everyone involved in bringing this weirdo on. I agree. If we're going to be mad about one thing, we have to be mad about the other. And to me, nobody can be self-righteous about this whole entire situation. That's why it's like, I'm not that mad about these screenshots. I'm not even mad, because the thing is, like, they all play in the mud. It's just that fans are okay with certain people playing in the mud. As long as it's their fave playing in the mud, we disregard it. So I feel like that's wild to me, that it's like, okay, this is being leaked, that Teresa and this fan account, Teresa and Jennifer are part of this fan account spreading this narrative. But then we have a screenshot of a scene where another account, a Twitter account that's been very hostile towards these two ladies, is at a scene or is filming. So it's like they're all playing tit for tat. And at this point, it is what it is. So the interview with Melissa continued, but Jay's reality blog, they summarized it. So she says she and Teresa coexist. The finale is bad. She says progression in her relationship with Jennifer Aiden. She progressed in her relationship with Jennifer Aiden, but recent social media drama made her take a step back. She confirmed that there was a pre-reunion gathering to discuss Louis hiring an investigator, but says it wasn't a big deal. Alleged Teresa asked her to flip on Margaret before a past reunion. Jackie and Teresa's friendship seems forced. Danielle hit the nail on the head in her feud with Jennifer Aiden, and she's fine with whatever the decision Bravo makes for season 15. So let's dissect this for a minute. So her and Teresa coexist. Pretty much they didn't film with each other, so I guess that's coexistence. Which I don't think it is. Coexistence to me would have been them at group events and them just not talking to one another. They have been saying the finale is bad, and they just showed, I think, like the 8 minutes of like the opening, and it's Dolores sitting at the table. It was all this yelling and arguing and all this stuff. So I guess it was bad. It looked like food was on the table, and then like stuff got pushed off the table, so it got real. It's interesting that Melissa and Jennifer got cool, and now, you know, all this drama, she taking a step back. It's also crazy that she did confirm that they did have a gathering, because Frank said that Frank Catania Sr. said that there was a meeting with all with the people who are against Teresa, and it seemed to him that they were trying to have a season where they took her down at the reunion. Then I can believe Teresa telling Melissa to flip on Margaret. I don't know how forced I think Jackie and Teresa's relationship is. I would have to see it for myself, but the optics is kind of it's peculiar. And then Danielle hitting the nail on the head between her feud with Jennifer. I don't know about that, because after watching back my reviews and then watching old clips of the season, I can see why people didn't like Danielle. Danielle gave very much try hard, and it also feels like Danielle switched up on Jennifer and Teresa, because either one, she felt like she got used, or two, she realized she couldn't best Margaret, because the way Margaret wrapped Danielle up in Ireland, to the point where that lady, Margaret, didn't even cuss at Danielle. She just told her about herself, and she was in her bedroom crying about her brother and their situation. So I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like it can go either two ways. Either Danielle makes a fool of herself, or Jennifer makes a fool of herself. But I feel like it's going to be a combination of what's in the middle. So Jackie also did an interview with the local news. So I'll play the audio for you guys for that, and then we'll discuss.
It just gets going from New Jersey never disappoints, and it gets wild right from the first episode. But this season, we never have a bad season. And this, again, is going to be filled with drama. What's interesting about this season is there's a lot of shifting friendships that are very unexpected. So I think that's what's the most exciting for me, is for people to see how, everybody is obviously talking about the fact that I'm friends with Teresa now. Yeah. And so I'm excited for people to see how that came about and how that happened, because it wasn't, just a show thing. It was real life. I mean, we were just texting this morning. So, right. I mean, that's what I'm most excited for. But I mean, if you love the drama, you will not be disappointed. There's tons of it.
Real Housewives of New Jersey starts on...
Here's the thing. It is giving forced relationship. I'm not going to lie. But I'm going to hold off until I see the season, because they might actually connect in a way that we didn't expect them to. But I've always held to the fact that I feel like Margaret is the one that spreaded that rumor about Evan. And the reason why I say that is I will never forget how uncomfortable Margaret looked when Teresa and Jackie were having that conversation at her home, and she was in the kitchen with her friend with the accent that I love, and she was pacing and her eyes were bugging out. And then when her husband Joe was you don't think, when he said that, guys, now you don't think women talk around me? They talk around me all the time. That story's always been that. I feel like they were the ones that were patient zero for that rumor. I don't believe they started the rumor, but I do believe people were at her house gossiping about it. And then it got back to Teresa. And so Teresa started saying it. And I don't think Margaret really ever realized that Teresa was going to take it there with Jackie. But I've always felt that way. I've always felt that way. But I'm also kind of surprised, because Teresa was really angry at Jackie for the whole analogy about Gia, and the drugs and stuff. So I'm wondering if, I don't know, maybe they came to some type of understanding. It will be interesting to see. I don't know. I don't know if Jackie is that thirsty to be on TV or get her spot back. I don't know. Maybe she thought Margaret and them was gonna help her out, and they didn't, so she was let me go to Teresa. I don't know, but I am interested to see the breakdown between Margaret and Jackie's relationship, because they're both very smart, and I feel like they could get nasty reads to each other. They could start eating each other up, because I feel like they both got it in them to give me a good show. So the last thing we're going to talk about is this feud between Rachel and Teresa. Now I'm going to tell y'all this. I do not go up for Teresa. I don't. She aggravates me. But I am really hoping that she wrapped Rachel and her weird looking husband up during this season. I really do hope she did. Because they're annoying me. I keep seeing these articles and these stories about them, and it's y'all got too much dip on your chip now. So Rachel and her husband were doing an interview with Tamra and what's her name? What's that lady name? Teddy's podcast, 2 T's in a Pod. And this is coming from Reality Entertainment, where they summarized it. It says, Rachel Fuda's husband, John Fuda, claims that the Real Housewives of New Jersey OG Teresa Giudice is nothing without him this season, because he is her storyline. When I tell you, when I read that and I heard the audio, I got so irritated. Because it's He is getting. I clocked this last season, and I feel like it's going to be more true as the season goes on. John wants to be Joe Gorga 2.0. Like the way Joe enjoys the spotlight and enjoys everybody being all, like, you know, singing the praises of him and his wife and him being the center of attention. I feel like that is what John wants to be, because what are you talking about that she's your storyline? I think this is your wife's storyline, because I don't even think Teresa cares. The fact that they showed that preview and Louis tried to have a conversation with John before they went to the birthday party, and John said no, he wanted to do, like, if they were going to have a conversation, it needed to be in front of people. It was just kind of like, why can't you have a private conversation? It's given he needs an audience. And one of my mutuals clocked it, and I wish I could remember their name right now, but they were like, it's because it's like he's taking Rachel's moment. And I said, you hit it on the head for me. I think that's why John irritates me. It's like, you're not a housewife. Your wife is the housewife. Why is Rachel doing dual interviews with you? Why is she not doing this on her own? What it makes me feel like is she couldn't hold her own, and she needed her husband to help her out, and you get no points for needing backup. Okay, no points for needing backup. So we continue with the Rachel and Teresa drama. So Rachel was recently doing an interview with Page 6, and she basically said that Teresa was hustling for a buck. It says, Rachel Fuda shares Teresa Giudice, shades, my bad. Rachel Fuda shades Teresa Giudice for taking House of Villains gig. AIM alleged money woes. She's hustling for a buck. So let me play the audio of that for you guys.
On House of Villains, I was surprised that she would do it, that she would like claim the villain title. So like, what do you think?
Hustling for a buck out here in these streets. You got to do what you got to do.
Do you know what? Like, a check is a check is a check, I suppose.
Yes. And with the trailer, with some of the teasers of what's unfolded about the financially draining and everything like that, I guess, you know, it's good to have some money streams always pouring in.
I mean, she took the title. I mean, I didn't take the first punch, as she says, right? So she called herself the villain.
Teresa was.
See, and this is why I want Rachel to get ate up, because I feel like she put too much dip on her chip again, because it's like, you're going after Teresa. And I told y'all in my disclaimer in the beginning of this video, I'm not a tree hugger. I'm not a Teresa stan. I'm not a Melissa fan. I feel like both of them have problematic tendencies. And it's like, it depends on which episode you watch and who does the worst, if I'm being honest, in my opinion. But this is my thing. If you're coming after Teresa, I need you to go hard. And I feel like her husband is going to be the one that goes harder than her. And I'm not going to like that, because your husband is not a housewife. You are. And you shouldn't need backup for this. Okay. On top of that, girl, hustling for a buck, like, that's a dig, was not working, in the sense of you would want your name to still garner you opportunities. Because if the rumor that I've seen going on online is true, that like after this season they might scrap this entire cast, or they might reboot this cast, you would hope that people still want to book you or are reaching out to you for different types of gigs. Rachel, that is what you want. And it's crazy to me that she's like hustling for a buck, when I'm thinking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta girls, where like Sheree and Phaedra just got off of Traders. Tamra was on Traders. Larsa was on Traders. None of us were like, ooh, they hustling backwards. Not backwards. They're hustling for a buck. Everyone was like, ooh, girl, they got a job. Keep a job. Good for them. Then you think about Nene. Nene was on The Apprentice, and she was on, I think it was like Celebrity College Hill. We were all like, okay, at least she still got a gig because she's not on the show no more. That's good for her. Then you think about Candy Burris, that keeps a job all the time. She would just like, she won The Masked Singer. She was on Celebrity Big Brother with Tamar and a few other people. And then you think about Kenya. Kenya was on Dancing with the Stars. It's like, you want your name to help you get jobs. So making that statement just makes me feel like Rachel truly doesn't understand. Like, she's not good at throwing shade, which makes me feel like her husband is going to be the one shading the people, and I don't like that. On top of that, that comment that she made to Teresa when they showed that 8-minute clip of like the final dinner or the finale dinner, where you got Melissa calling somebody white trash, and then Rachel calling Teresa a balloon lip bitch or something like that. I'm like, girl, everybody sitting at that table has had plastic surgery, including yourself. Y'all all have been under the knife, poking and prodding your faces and bodies and putting illegal substances in yourself, okay? Like just foreign objects and all of that stuff. And I'm looking at Rachel like, Rachel, your nose is constantly pulling it in the air. Like the tip of your nose could probably cut a brick. I would stay away from like body shaming digs when your plastic surgery didn't come out well. Like that, like I was like, Rachel, there's no hope, girl. Like if that's what you're coming with, I mean, I laughed. I'm not gonna lie, I laughed at it, but then I thought about it. I said, well, Rachel, did you check your plastic surgery, sis? Girl. But it looks like it's going to be an interesting season. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and definitely drop down in them comments below and leave me your thoughts. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.